when I was about 9 years old. So I have much to be grateful for the example that was given to me. Since this is the Academy of the Law Fellow alumni, I'm grateful for some people that helped me in law school, and I would like to give them a shout out. Probably first and foremost, Lynn Fromm. Lynn was the Dean of Student Affairs, which we thought was hilarious, by the way, because there were lots of student affairs. And but he started the first year, my year of law school, and he was a support and a pillar, and we remained friends throughout his life. And I want to give a shout out to him, and I was so glad to see that the office was named after him. Couple other shout outs of people who are no longer with us. I had the privilege of having Tom Schornhorst, Craig Bradley, and Pat Bode as my law professors, my inspiration, and my teaching. And so I'm grateful for them, and I'm grateful that they were here at this law school for me to have that experience. Although I really do think Tom started every day thinking he was going to make a student cry. My neighbor, Terry Bethel, another shout out. And I want to thank Professor Dworkin. Professor Dworkin taught me more about analyzing cases. I had him for torts. Of course, that's what I do. And so I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. And I hope some of you remember some of these really wonderful, inspirational professors. So mostly I am grateful every single day to wake up in Bloomington, Indiana, or wherever I am, and know that my law practice and I get to live and work in Bloomington, Indiana. So I thank my lucky stars for that every day. Um, and that's the home of my law school, right? And I'm so proud to be affiliated with it. With the good foundation I got from the law school, I became a deputy prosecutor first. And I learned that there's a higher duty than to win, right? I learned that part of being a lawyer is doing the right thing. And I learned about ethics, and I learned that rules, professional rules, they don't just live on the shelf, they live with us every single day. And when I became a personal injury lawyer, I learned that I have the power. Knowledge is power. I have the power to help people and to change things for people. And we in the legal profession have that, right? So, with great power comes great responsibility. I was a little curious about who said that. Some people say Voltaire said something like that. There's a quote that Winston Churchill said something like that, but mostly it's attributed to Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So I'll take that, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And so I'm really blown away by this wonderful recognition, and I'm so grateful because it's service to the profession. And I've always tried to give back and reach forward. And so I so much appreciate and value this recognition, and thank you. So that kind of just brings me to the present. I too was a little disconnected from my law school after I graduated the first few years. I'm not so sure that there was quite the structure to keep us connected. But it was thanks really to Bill Henderson that I came back. He actually asked me to come and speak several years in a row, and I still serve on the panel on the legal profession. And I'm grateful that I get to talk to law students about how wonderful I think what I do is, and to share that with the law students. It also gives me the opportunity to meet and get to know some of our law students that are coming through Mauer. So then through Bill and Lauren, I got sort of active back in the law school. And thank you, Dean, for Dean Austen Parrish for inviting me to be on the Board of Visitors, because this too has been such a privilege. And I'm just blown away by how different law school is now than it was 40 years ago. Literally 40 years ago, when we're sitting there in our orientation, they did this. I didn't think this was true, but it is. The dean said to us, look to your right, look to your left, and one of those people aren't going to be there. And you know what? That was true. Now I see that our law students get support and encouragement. I see these centers. I'm just blown away by what's happening in our law school and what we're doing. Um, so what these students give me is hope and optimism and faith in our profession as leaders of leaders in this country and around the world. So with that, I very humbly say thank you for this really beautiful recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betsy. You know, I always think the applause doesn't work, so I just pulled this up and we'll see if this works. I know that's what people mean, and there were some nice comments in the chat, Betsy, from Professor Henderson saying how you change hearts and minds, and Greg Cassani is saying here. Congratulations on that well-deserved recognition. Our next honoree is to induct Pamela Jones Harbour. Pamela, 1984 graduate, has had an illustrious career spanning from government to private practice to corporate America, and has built a reputation as a leading national expert in competition law, consumer protection, and national expertise, information privacy and data security. As Senior Vice President and Legal Officer of Herbalife Nutrition, Pamela leads a compliance team across 94 markets worldwide. She also leads the company's global privacy and data protection efforts. Before joining Herbalife, Pamela was a litigation partner in 3 American law firms with specialization in antitrust, consumer protection, and data security law. She chaired and co-chaired privacy practices at 2 of those firms. Her legal career began in the New York Attorney General's office, where she served for 11 years, eventually as Assistant First Deputy Attorney General. Her duties with the office included oversight of the Attorney General's Civil Litigation Division, which employed over 350 AGs. In 1997, she was selected by her peers to argue before the United States Supreme Court on behalf of 37 states in State Oil versus Con, a resale price maintenance case. In 2003, she was sworn in as a commissioner of the Federal Trade Commission, where she served with distinction until 2010. Pamela's career experience has included frequent speaking engagements, congressional testimony, and publications in a wide range of industries and subject areas. In addition to her understanding of global antitrust and consumer protection law, she's developed breadth and depth of knowledge in energy, healthcare, and privacy fields. Her service and her expertise has been widely recognized. She was chosen in 2014 by her peers as one of Washington, D.C.'s super lawyers and received the Super Lawyers Excellence in Practice recognition for the New York metro area. She is a recipient of the Association of Black Women Attorneys Ruth Whitehood Whaley Professional Achievement Award, the New York State Bar Association Kate Crawford Murray Award for Distinguished Legal Career in Advancing the Professional Development of Women Attorneys, the Electronic Privacy Information Center's Champion of Freedom Award for defense of consumer privacy as an FTC commissioner. This past year, she was selected to receive the American Bar Association's Spirit of Excellence Award, which is given to lawyers who excel in the professional setting and personify excellence on the national and international level for those who demonstrate a commitment to racial and ethnic diversity in the legal profession. In addition to her law degree, Pamela received her undergraduate degree from the Jacobs School of Music here at IU. And in 2012, she had the distinction of being the law school's commencement speaker. Pamela, on behalf of all of the Maurer School of Law and in honor of your distinguished career and many accomplishments, I'm incredibly honored and delighted to welcome you into this year's Academy of Law Alumni Fellows. And I will, if I can do this again, I will lead the applause. And I will turn it over to you, Pamela, for your remarks.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and good afternoon to the Board of Visitors, faculty, alumni, and students. I appreciate the opportunity to thank the Academy virtually for this beautiful award, and for induction into the Law Alumni Fellows, along with my esteemed colleagues, Betsy, Mark, and Jean. So the apocryphal expression, "may we live in interesting times," certainly comes to mind. Yet, despite all that is transpiring in our government, in our communities, and in our country, the Academy consistently values and enables Moyer Law School to celebrate the ideals of integrity, leadership, and professionalism. 3 principles I learned well at IU School of Law. To the select students that are on this Zoom call today, you are receiving an excellent education at IU, and you will be prepared to begin the practice of law. You will join the ranks of an exciting and noble profession. For as long as there have been legal institutions, lawyers have always been among society's greatest leaders. You represent the next generation of the legal profession. To the law school faculty on this call, you continue a proud tradition of promoting the public good. And thanks to your dedication and guidance, your students will be well prepared to advance not only the legal profession, but the cause of justice itself within the state, across the nation, and around the world. As a law school graduate class of 1984, I never could have imagined myself as an inductee of Moyer Law's 2020 ALAF. And as I look over the horizon of my career, clearly the last 30 plus years have been an incredible journey for me. And at times, the trip has been fraught with adversity, and it has taken great effort to navigate the obstacles in my path. But also, almost always as often, the road has been smoothed by benevolence and serendipity, even in the most unexpected places. During my first year of law school, after what I can only describe as a massive anxiety attack during my very first law school examination, that episode taught me a few lessons about humility and overcoming adversity. And one of the lessons was that one should never be too proud to ask for help. As you go through life, you will unexpectedly encounter people who are willing and able to help you. Let them. Their benevolence will surprise you. For me, help came in the form of Leonard Fromm, the law school's late and beloved Dean of Students, to whom I will always be grateful. Dean Fromm was committed to my law school success. He helped me plan my curriculum all the way through to graduation. And had I lacked the courage to ask for assistance back in 1981, I would not be speaking to you today, nor would I have gone on in my profession. So looking back now, I am reminded of a quote by Thomas Edison. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And I didn't give up. And my hard work at IU and elsewhere in my career paid off. You see, we are what we repeatedly do. Success is not an act, but a habit. And so I will end by returning to something I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks, the role of lawyers in society. And I would like to think that during my career, I have made a small difference in the world, especially in the lives of everyday consumers as a former regulator in state and federal government, and now in the private corporate practice. And to the law students, I want you to believe that you too can make a difference in the world. Your leadership is critical, and I urge you to seize the opportunity that your law degree will bestow upon you. And again, thank you very much for this wonderful honor.
Well, thank you, Pamela, for those inspiring remarks. And I see people clapping. So. Congratulations. It's such a privilege to be able to have you here today and to induct you. Our next honoree is Mark Wojciechowski. Mark has spent most of his distinguished career handling sophisticated finance matters in the New York markets. Currently, Mark is a partner at Morrison & Foerster in New York, where he serves as chair of the firm's Finance and Projects Group and co-chair of the Financial Transactions Group. He focuses his practice on leveraged and acquisition finance, middle market and asset-based finance, mergers and acquisitions, and hybrid transactions involving structured debt and equity investments. Mark's clients include major foreign and domestic commercial and investment banks, as well as private funds and public and private companies. Over the past 4 decades, Mark has represented clients and executed transactions in such a wide range of industries, including banking, energy, technology, media, telecommunications, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, construction and engineering. Before joining Morrison, Mark was a partner at Alumni, where he served as head of the firm's North American Leveraged Finance Group. He also practiced at Mayer Brown before that for a number of years, where he led the firm's global leveraged finance practice and served on its executive committee. He has been recognized by Chambers USA for excellence in both the fields of banking and mergers and acquisitions corporate work. He's also passionate about pro bono representation, having successfully represented clients on appeal in the area of prisoners' rights. In addition to his law degree from IU, Mark holds an AB in economics from Columbia University. Although he spent his professional life in New York, he has remained an incredibly engaged law school alumnus, and he has served as one of the most important alums in the New York area. He's a longtime member of the school's Board of Visitors, having served for nearly 25 years, and he has hired and mentored numerous Indiana law alumni during his 40 years in the legal profession. He's been generous for this time and has helped a generation of Maurer alumni develop their successful careers. I have to say, when I started and had my first reception in New York, I was stunned that all alumni in New York seemed to know Mark. One nominee, a former mentee, noted that Mark was instrumental in launching his career by giving him, as he says, quote, a quid from Southern Indiana, the chance of a lifetime by hiring him as an associate in New York. And even though he's now on the business side, he uses Mark's teachings about leverage finance every day. Mark, thank you for all you've done for the law school, for your tremendous service on the Board of Visitors. In recognition of this and your distinguished career, I'm truly honored to welcome you into the Maurer School of Law, Academy of Law Alumni Fellows. Mark, congratulations. Thank you for all you do. I'll do a round of applause and turn it over to you.
Okay, am I on?
Yes, you are now.
I just want, good, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Steve. I'm honored and grateful to receive this honor. I am deeply, deeply humbled. And when I say that, it's not just because I'm mindful of the significance of the work in the Maurer School of Law community, and not only the fact that I'll be placed in the company of some incredibly talented, successful alums, as well as newcomers, Betsy, Pamela, and Jean. And by the way, congratulations to the 3 of you. But more than that, I'm humbled because I feel that the Maurer School of Law has done so much more for me than I was one of those who always wanted to be a lawyer. Always wanted to go to law school and be a lawyer from very early days. But the problem was in 1978, it wasn't going to happen unless I got some significant financial aid. Law schools that accepted me, Indiana was the only one that took a chance in a meaningful way, at least, and allowed me to come. It made all the difference, and I've never forgotten that or stopped being grateful for that. If not for law school, the next best opportunity in the fall of 1978 was an entry-level position on the trading floor at the old Alumni Brothers investment bank. And I remember I once told my wife that, but for Indiana's largesse, I probably would have ended up as just another one of those billionaire bond trader so-and-so. She responded to me that perhaps I should appreciate knowing that at least I managed to achieve one of those attributes. But I digress. Upon graduate from Maurer in '81, I landed a job as an associate at a Wall Street firm. I was fortunate enough to become an equity partner very quickly, 6 years, which I think even back in the day was a bit early. as Dean Parrish said, I've been able to work on a number of well-known prominent M&A and financing transactions. I mentioned that not at all to be boastful, but rather to point out that over my career, I've worked with and across from really talented and smart law firms. Never once did I feel that my legal training was anything short of being just as good or better. The training and education I received at law school was just simply exceptional. I'm grateful for that too. I understand that there are some students listening in, and as I was thinking about what I would say today, and really first times actually, rightly or wrongly, of thinking back about my career, I thought maybe I could just speak. When I graduated, so 1981, for the first time, I think maybe ever, the United States had slipped into a second recession, just coming out of recession the year before. A year later, 1982, Mexico, Brazil are on their sovereign debt, touching off a major global banking crisis. I don't think that had ever happened outside of wartime. In 87, I had been named partner on a Friday, and the following Monday, the stock market fell 25%, called Black Monday. I think that's still the largest single decline in a single day. 1989, the junk bond market crashed, taking a number of financial institutions with it, including Drexel. Probably at that point was the most profitable house on the street. 2000, the dot-com bubble. 9/11, 2007, 2008, the recession. Here we are. Now, each of those events prior to COVID was supposed to be a game changer. Things would never be normal. Things would never be the same. And I'm not saying don't worry about it. That it'll pass. It's just like all the others. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, I know. I've been there as a law student. I've been there as a young lawyer. It's scary. There's nothing you can do. To be honest, I think how I made it through was I happened to be just in the right place at the right time. But here's the thing, and again, this is a perspective looking back. I'm certain that you made the right decision to go to law school, and you're at the right law school at MAR. You'll learn, among other things, to appreciate nuance. You'll gain an ability to discern. You'll gain an ability to advocate a position. Those are virtues, I believe, and we need more people have those virtues, and so does the world. Also, and I know this is going to sound corny, but I'm very frequently asked by parents and young people about going to law school. Is it worth it? Does it make sense? It's so competitive. And I know, again, I'll say it, this is going to sound corny, but my view is that if you can get through it, get your law degree, you are going to be endowed with special superhero. We as lawyers are the ones that can make changes. We understand how things work. You can, whatever your nemesis might be, whether it's political, religious, right, left, social, Democrat, Republican, you have the power with the knowledge of the inner workings and what you're going to be taught to make a change, to address things that you would like to see working or being different. I'll end by, I was thinking about this, and I recall this scene I saw Seinfeld, one of his programs, his show, Seinfeld being the great social commentator and legal authority that he is. And so I'll paraphrase as I recall it. But he was, talking to his cohort. He said, lawyers are really the only people that understand the rules of how things really work. Most of us, we're all playing the game, dice, we're moving our pieces around the board. There's a problem. It's the lawyer. That's the only person that's tipped up the backside of the top of the box and read the instructions and understands the rules and can figure it out. And I think that is so true. And superpowers that go along. With that, I want to thank everyone. I again am very, very grateful and deeply, deeply humbled to receive this honor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mark. Let me see if I can do the applause again. And it's been fabulous having you on the board, and so glad we were able to honor you appropriately today. For our last honoree, and I feel bad, I think this is one of the downsides of having a last name with a Z, is the induction of Jean Zink, although I think that's usually a benefit, at least for being called on in law school. For over 40 years, Jean Zink has led the development and growth of two successful and highly regarded commercial real estate companies, while serving as a committed civic leader and making a tremendous difference in our communities. An example of how to marry a career of success with giving back. Jean is currently the executive chairman of Strategic Capital Partners, where his responsibilities include strategic planning, investment decisions, fundraising, financial reporting, and investor relations. Before founding Strategic Capital Partners, Jean was a co-founder, vice chairman, and the chief financial officer of Duke Realty Corporation. Jean spent 26 years helping Duke grow from an owner, operator, developer to a $10 billion New York Stock Exchange listed real estate investment trust. During his tenure, Duke had one of the best performance records of any publicly traded investment trust. Jean joined Duke after practicing law with Bose McKinney, Evans in Indianapolis, where he was a partner. Before practicing law, he was a captain in the United States Air Force. In addition to his law degree from the law school, Jean received a Bachelor of Arts degree from Vanderbilt University in 1968 and a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Hawaii in 1973. He's had lots of different awards. In 2016, he was awarded a Doctor of Humane Letters by the University of Indianapolis, and he's well known for his community mindedness. He currently serves on the board of directors of the Ivy Tech Foundation and the Goodwill Industries of Central and Southern Indiana. He's the past chairperson and current board member of the Indy Chamber, and has previously served as president of the Park Tudor School Board of Trustees, the Park Tudor Foundation, Sequoia Foundation, the Pleasant Run Foundation, and is director of the United Way of Central Indiana, and many more. He is the co-founder and past president of the board of Challenge Foundation Academy. The Academy is an inner city charter school which has received both state and national recognition for successfully educating children from challenged urban neighborhoods. Jean and his wife are also co-founders of the Jean and Marianne Zink Poverty Institute at the University of Indianapolis. Jean, you've served the profession and your community extremely well. You're an example to us all, and I'm incredibly honored and privileged to be able to induct you today into the Law School's Academy of Law Alumni Fellows. With a round of applause, please, for Jean. It's a privilege to induct you today.
Thank you, Dean Parrish. I'm humbled by this award, humbled by the co-awardees. Mark, I'm one of the ones that blames the lawyers always. There's never anybody else to turn to. Thank you. I've been blessed with a wonderful career. First, working in Bose McKinney and Evans for Bob Cassie. We had a great law firm, and I thought I'd be a lawyer for 40 years. I was a lawyer for 8 years, loved every minute of it, and then I've been a real estate developer ever since and continuing. And please, there are some good, nice real estate developers. They're not all evil. I thought I'd reflect on the lessons I've learned. As being that I'm the oldest one here, I guess I get a chance to talk about the lessons I've learned. First, when I was in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force for 5 years. The lesson everybody in the service learns is excrement rolls downhill. Don't be at the bottom of the hill. Fight your way to the top, no matter where you are. The second lesson I learned was depend on your peers and your superiors to learn. When I was sent to Okinawa, I was 24 years old and managed 1,000 people. 10 of them spoke English, the rest spoke Japanese. I knew nothing about what I was doing, but I had a fantastic Chief Master Sergeant who said, let me show you, Captain Zink, how this is done. And I've used that throughout my career, both my legal career and my real estate career. We left the Air Force and I flew to Hawaii, where I finished my MBA. A reason I got to love real estate real quickly was when we got to Okinawa, we bought a little concrete block house. I had a wife and a couple of months old baby, daughter, and we bought this concrete block house. It had steely bars on the windows to keep the bad guys out. It had typhoon shutters that we shut every time a typhoon came along and blew the island apart. And I paid $6,500, which to me was all the money in the world. And when I left, Okinawa had been American prefecture, and it reverted to Japan while I was there. And the Japanese started coming in and buying up everything you could see. And one day, somebody came to my little concrete block house, knocked on the door, and it was a beautiful Japanese woman and spiked heels who'd walked down my gravel driveway in her spiked heels, which was much to her credit. And she said in broken English, "Would you like to sell your house?" And I said, "Well, maybe." And we bargained. And after the bargaining, she agreed to buy it for $13,000, which was twice what I paid for it. A couple of days later, she came to the door with a suitcase fully in. I was a millionaire after that transaction at 25 years old. And I thought, gee, this real estate isn't bad. I then flew back directly to Bloomington and had my first class the day after I landed. And I've loved that experience ever since. I was blessed again. Marianne and I were in Bloomington during the time of the greatest college basketball team ever, and still, Scotty May, Quinn Buckner. We never missed a game, home game. My daughter, little 2-year-old daughter at this time, learned to swear listening to me watch the ball games. Not something I'm particularly proud of, but it was a wonderful time to be in Bloomington. I learned a number of things in law school, of course. It was an experience that, although I've not gone to work and had it with my yellow pad every day, I use my legal exposure almost, not daily, but almost weekly. And I say to the people that work with me, you got to listen. I know that I'm not practicing law, I'm practicing malpractice, but help me here. And we've done great with that. And much of that I attribute to my law school experience. I worked for 3 years in the prosecutor's office, and I had the GI Bill and $13,000 in my pocket, all of which I spent in Bloomington. But it was a wonderful time. And in my real estate career, I can't tell you how many times I think back on my contracts class and others and think, I got to think this through. Maybe it's not as easy as it looks. It's been extraordinarily important. Finally, what have I learned in the real estate business? I've learned that you have to be willing to take risk. Real estate is all about risk. If you aren't comfortable with risk, you shouldn't ever approach it. But I love risk, and I've fumbled a few times, but I've had more successes than fumbles. And the bad news about real estate is you build an ugly building and everybody knows it's yours. And so you try your best to sell it, but your name sticks to it. The good thing about real estate is you build a beautiful building and everybody thinks you've done something really special. But always I think, thank you to the law school for helping me manage risk, think about risk in a way that helps me outnumber the fumbles with the successes. I owe a great deal to the law school. I never expected a real estate developer to be inducted into this special organization. And of course, at my age, it's even more special. I've been inducted into a lot of things, but I don't think I got a whole lot of time left for many more. So thank you, Dean Parrish. Thank you, Bill Hunt. Thank you, Bob Cassing, and thank all of the members of the organization. And thank you to my co-inductees, who I'm full of admiration for what you accomplished. Thank you, Dean Parrish.
Thank you, Gene, for those inspiring words. And we're just glad you're in the game. And so let me well, thank you to all our honorees. This afternoon, we've been able to honor 4 extraordinary individuals who have distinguished themselves in their careers through personal achievements and dedication to the highest standards in the profession. What I think is remarkable when we hear from all 4 of them is the breadth of their contributions and the tremendous ways they've made a difference in their communities. And that means a lot. It's a pleasure for me as a dean to be able to get to hear their stories. And it's equally wonderful to hear in their own words how they've gotten to where they are. Although we couldn't do this in person this year, this ceremony remains one of my most favorite events each year. And I think in many ways are most important. Schools are only good as the alumni they graduate. And having our students to be able to have role models and inspirations like the 4 people we've honored today is critical for the school's future. So please join me in a final round of applause to congratulate Betsy, Pamela, Mark, and Jean for all they do and all they've done for the school. Congratulations. Well, thank you for joining us. Please enjoy the rest of the day and for the upcoming Halloween holiday. It's been great to spend some time with you. And again, to our 4 honorees, congratulations and thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Have a nice weekend.
See you, Michael. Thanks.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.